This is Bumper to Bumper, the car show. Drive in anxious and cruise out confident. With the best automotive information for your vehicle. And now your hosts, Matt Allen and Dave Riccio.
Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Bumper Radio. I am Matt Allen along with Dave Riccio. And every single Saturday at 11, we are your KTAR car guys helping you out with your car. The goal here is to help you have a better car ownership experience, whether it's coming down to buying a car, selling a car, fixing a car, getting rid of a car, ignoring your car, whatever it is that you may want to do or have a question about, we can certainly help you with that, and we would love to do that. You can get a hold of us by calling 602-277-5827. It's 602-277-KTAR. And if you'd like to text us a question, you can always do that at 411-923. And you know, your car, you're out driving around right now, there's a lot of juice in your car. Your car needs all kinds of different juices to make it run right. We're not talking about apples
juice,
and
orange
tomato juice or
vodka juice.
Yeah, none of that stuff. None of the clamatos or or anything like that. But I used to tease people about juice. They'd say, "Oh, it's got juice." What kind of juice is in that wire? We're talking about voltage.
Right.
We're not talking about voltage today. We're talking about the juice is in the motor oil, the transmission, the coolant, and there's cars got several other juices in them.
Right.
And they all need to be maintained at some point. But bad maintenance is worse than no maintenance at all, oftentimes.
Yes, it is.
And we see things happen on a regular basis. Dave, I know you had one this week with a transmission issue, and it goes back to the juice. So,
yeah, we had a 2008, I believe, Jeep Compass with roughly 80,000 miles on it in our shop. And they came to us. The guy had this weird sensation when he was going 70 miles an hour. So John got in the car with him, and they literally had to drive it 20 minutes before this weird sensation showed up. And John scratched his head. He goes, all right. So customer left, and we drove this car. By the time we actually got this thing all done and out the door, 138 miles to get this car fixed.
You know what's funny? 138 miles going down I-10 is 2 hours.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I drove it. Another guy drove it. We had one guy, hey, go drive it for 20 miles and then come back. I'm going to jump in the car while it's moving so I can catch it in the, in the act of acting up. And so that's what we did. And at the end of the day, what we found out, we tracked it back down to the last shop that serviced the transmission. And what they did, this has a CVT transmission in it, and the fluid is very specific. And this other shop had used a fits-all CVT fluid, and we're not even sure that was even that.
Well, yeah, because I've never heard of a fits-all. And when we say fits-all, that's one flavor to cover multiple requests, or universal. I've never heard of a universal CVT fluid. Now, there are some, quote, universal regular transmission fluids that in some cases are okay. We may differ on that a little bit. But yeah, so it sounds to me like maybe this is just a kid checking at the tire shop, checking, hey, he needs transmission fluid. And the guy sells a transmission service, but he never thinks to check is it a CVT?
What ended up happening, the other shop begrudgingly stepped up to pay the bill to fix this guy's car because we had to service it out now with the right fluid, and we had to run 20 quarts through it just to get all the old stuff out. But when they put the wrong fluid in a transmission, it creates all these really weird, deals that are hard to diagnose. I had to say, hey, you're gonna have to spend this money to service this transmission, and it might not work. Because, I don't know, did we damage the transmission already? That becomes the question by putting the wrong fluid in it. And they may very well have. And, the symptom cleared up after we serviced it, but 5,000 miles from now, 10,000 miles from now, is that transmission going to have an issue prematurely?
Well, yeah, did we cause we don't know what we don't know, so to speak.
No.
And is there premature failure or something happening in that transmission because of the wrong fluid? And I got to tell you, whether it's transmission fluid, motor oil, coolant, those are probably the three most important.
Yeah, top tier right there.
You can't really screw up power steering fluid too much, although, if you put normal, I don't even know if there's anything normal anymore. If you put normal power steering fluid, regular, into a Honda, it's going to leak. So you've got to do that. Now, so there is special Honda power steering fluid that you want to use with Honda and Acura.
And we said it before on the show, are you over-serviced but underserved? Now, this guy went into this shop just for his regular maintenance, and they said, oh, you need a transmission service. So they recommended a transmission service to him. He went in there without a transmission problem. He left with a transmission problem. He said, well, I noticed something was different, and it was the guy doesn't drive the car a ton, being a 2008 with only 80,000 miles on it. So it kind of took him a little while, and he had to drive the car 20 minutes before a symptom would show up, so he didn't see it, and I bring...
Yeah, it takes a while to even to appear for him. I got it.
So, at the shop, if you come on my shop, and I give you a tour of my shop, which I do all the time because I love giving tours, I walk you past my wall of transmission fluid, and then my wall of coolant, and then my wall of engine oil, and I tell people, hey, listen, I stock 32 flavors of transmission fluid, and that's an under-exaggeration because it's more like 45 now at this point. Every model year they add another one, and I got to keep track of it, and I got a whole spreadsheet for it because I'm OCD, but to keep track of all that stuff. But, even engine oil, I got to... the list of engine oil that I stock. Oh, when I first started changing oil on cars, we had 1030.
That was it.
That was all we had.
And if you worked on German cars, maybe you did 2050, 25 years ago or something like that.
Yeah, but that was the one oil, so you almost couldn't put the wrong oil in the car. Now, I'm going to tell you something about, some of the coupon oil change type things. Listen, they're not paying a top tech necessarily to do that job. They're kind of paying the young kid that may be out of school or never went to school. He's doing the oil change because if they got to hit that price point of, $14 or $19 or whatever they're baiting you in the door with, and so is he going to put the right oil in your car? Is he going to take the time to look it up? There are differences, and you can, damage a car by not putting the right fluid in it.
Yeah, for example, I mean, you take, the coupon, and we don't see it as much, but maybe you go in for the price point oil change. And, hey, maybe you're not just coupon shopping. Maybe if they told you it was $5 more, you're willing to do it. You know what I mean? You're going to supersize or get the right thing because you can't possibly put one coupon out for that covers everything. But where I see the problem is the shop says, no, just put the 1030 in or put in the whatever.
Close enough.
Yeah. It's oil, it's slippery, and it's kind of brown, and it all works the same. But it's not. I mean, you take a car that needs 530, or the other thing is, when this Dexos oil, that's the GM oil that they came out with several years ago, it was more expensive. It's come down in price now that it's more common, and other people have gotten the certifications. It's not quote special anymore. It's kind of standard. But people would be shocked when they come in, they had a $65 oil change, and they'd say, no, just put the other oil in. If you're doing that, you're ruining your car. You can go look right in the mirror and say, point to yourself and go, I'm ruining my car.
Right.
So when you're crying about it in 4 or 5 years, just then you remember, hopefully have it saved on your phone, I'm ruining my car.
I had a guy, we were doing a timing cover. It was a GM front-wheel drive product, a vehicle that would take Dexos oil, and we're doing the timing cover, so we get the valve covers off, and we're pulling everything apart, and you look at the cams, and they have weird wear. This car only has 100,000 miles on it. Well, guess what? He got one of those deals where a kid knocked on his door, said, hey, we're raising money for the team, which... absolutely support the kid. I'm not saying don't, but now he's got this stack of coupons. He's got like 20 coupons for these oil changes for whatever price he paid for it. And guess what? They've been blowing just the conventional oil in there for the last 100,000 miles because he buys one every season or whatever it is. And now, I didn't have the heart to tell him. I said, well, that's some weird wear on the cams, it's going to get expensive here for you, but you've got to start servicing these cars right. So there's something you take away from this. Don't be ignorant when it comes to the oil or the transmission fluid that goes in your car. You can open up your owner's manual, and there it is right there. This is the weight. Some people, if they got something that's close and they're putting it in there anyway, not really the right shop to be at. Oh, yeah, they all work,
Yeah.
They're very specific. The modern car is very complicated.
Hey, I'm going to work on this power outlet. Is the switch off? Oh, yeah, pretty close. No, it doesn't. It doesn't go like that. Pretty close. Your close counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. Other than that, you need to be pretty accurate with
what I forget what movie it was. 210, 220. They're all the same.
Fletcher, one of those.
Mr. Mom, right? The vacuum cleaner.
Oh yeah. But and then the other one is for those of you who are going out and getting a new car, or maybe you're buying a used car. We talk about under-servicing, over-servicing. We need to think about this, too. One thing you might be shocked of, I'm going to go buy a new Volkswagen. Hey, go for it. I love them. But you know what? the oil changes are a little bit more than your Toyota. Well, I can't even say that anymore because now all the Toyotas require 020 synthetic.
Yep.
But even not all your synthetic oils are the same. That Mobile One that you pull off the shelf may just not be the right specification for your new or even 5-year-old BMW. You've got to have the BMW specification or the Volkswagen or the Porsche or whatever it is. I mean, I've got 3 or 4 of those in my shop, and we still have to order oil out. Plus, we have your 020s and your 530s and the 520 and
Hey, and just because you're going to the dealership doesn't mean you're getting the right oil in your car either. There's a whole chain of dealerships owned by one big conglomerate thing, and they sit there and they pump the wrong transmission fluid in every car that comes in because they're a big buyer and they own their own little oil company, and so they pump the wrong stuff into every car. When I say wrong stuff, it'll work pretty much, but it can cause some issues. So.
Well, and yours probably, yeah, exactly. So, well, it's just funny how it goes. But then back to the maintenance, over maintaining. If you've got a newer car that's telling you it's okay to go 10,000 or 15,000 miles on an oil change, that I think you're under servicing your car there.
Right.
And if they're free, fine. Let them do the first floor for free, but let's cut it in half. Because what we see on these cars that have been allowed to go a long time in their oil changes, that's very fine for the infancy of the car. But then you create this habit that you're now into, and when that car's more mature and it's 60 and 70,000 miles, you've got this habit and you're not changing the oil right.
Well, the other thing with oil, I mean, you don't want to go cheap on oil. The thing I don't like to do is I don't like to put crummy batteries in cars. Because batteries are one of those things that causes all these other little electrical issues. So when cars come to our shop, we test every battery that comes through the door, and if it's weak, because it's gonna die in at some point, I'm gonna recommend it to you and I'm gonna put a good interstate battery in there because that's a battery you can depend on, a battery with a great warranty that's covered coast to coast. And interstate battery is the battery that we use at Tri-City Transmission. So when we come back, we're taking your phone calls at 602-277-5827. That's 602-277 KTAR. You're listening to Matt and Dave, your KTAR car guys on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Trust. It's hard to earn and sometimes even harder to find. If you live or work in downtown Phoenix, Matt Allen's Virginia Auto Service is celebrating over 20 years of award-winning service at the corner of 7th Street and Virginia. Recognized as one of the best service shops in the country, their customers have come to trust Virginia Auto Service for its A-plus rating by the BBB, 2-year 24,000-mile warranties, and free transportation to and from your home or office. 20-plus years of earning your trust. Virginia Auto Service. They're serious about service.
Get ready for a blend of timeless traditions and new school trends at the Good Guys Southwest Nationals Giant Car Show, November 16th through the 18th at Westworld of Scottsdale. Come on out and explore over 3,000 cutting-edge pre-1987 hot rods, muscle cars, and trucks. Experience the power and performance of Good Guys Duel in the Desert Autocross Final Shootout. Feel the rumble of Nitro Thunderfest. And bring out your late model American-made or powered show car for the Spectra Performance All-American Sunday. It's the Good Guys Southwest Nationals, November 16th through the 18th at Westworld of Scottsdale. Get tickets and details at good-guys.com.
Well, welcome back to Bumper Radio. We've got some calls starting to come through at 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. We'll get you screened to get you on and see if we can help you with your car. You can also text us at 411-923. Today we happen to be talking about fluids and putting the right fluid in your car and all that stuff. And we want you to be in the know as far as what goes in your car. That way if someone says something that's kind of off, then we know what to do with that.
The number one thing you can do is just ask questions. You don't have to interrogate, but just quiz. And if the answers don't seem right, or just ask, why do I need to do that? Or is there better oil? Or is that the same coolant? And let them explain it out.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. In the old days, you could get away with a lot. The modern car, it's engineered a certain way, and the manufacturers have it really dialed down. They know how to produce a good car at the cheapest possible dollar, so everybody can make money. It's affordable for the person to buy a new car. And last I checked, though, cars aren't cheap.
Holy
so
smokes.
you don't want to do it wrong. And like the story I was telling about the guy, 100,000 miles, he's doing this repair. It wasn't necessarily a result of the wrong oil, but we knew he was going to have another repair in his near future as a result of using the wrong oil in his car. because you got a coupon for
Well,
it.
and some of those early Cadillac, not early, I mean 2000s Cadillacs, they had they had problems with them wearing out the timing chains. There were all kinds of problems. In the recall or the bulletin to cure that wear was to reprogram the computer. You think to yourself, how's reprogramming the computer got anything to do with mechanical wear? All they did was make the oil change light come on sooner.
For sure.
So that's why we don't follow the oil change light. We go 5,000 miles.
Every 5,000 miles. So if you got a question about fluids, we can help you out with that. We can help you out with anything at 602-277-5827. We're going to go with 2016 Hyundai Elantra. How can we help you with your Elantra? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hi. I've been curious for a long time when it comes to synthetic oil. Now, the car I have, the Elantra, has a specific oil in the back of the owner's manual that you were referring to earlier that doesn't include a synthetic type, but at the dealership they offered both regular and synthetic. So I've kind of been going back and forth between the two, and I was using my car for a while for a lot of driving. For example, 3,000 to 4,000 miles a month. So I was changing the oil once a month. I like to do it around 3,000. Now I'm up over 130,000 miles on the car now. It's 2016, but I bought it early, so it's a little over 3 years old now.
Yeah. What was your name again? I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, Brandon.
Brandon, yeah. I like the synthetic oil, and what I would do, I necessarily would not change back and forth in between the two. I like synthetic oil for a couple reasons. You're going to change the oil less often. That's the second reason, actually. The number one reason, it's better protection. Better protection. If something goes haywire with the car, maybe it overheats or maybe you have some catastrophic oil loss or something, if there's just that extra layer of insurance. I don't want to use it because now I can get away with not changing my oil when I'm supposed to, although you can stretch out a little bit. But I would certainly my recommendation is on one of the smaller Japanese cars or even American cars is a 5,000-mile oil change with synthetic oil.
In really honestly, because I'm shopping oil in my shop because I'm ready to do something differently, but the price between the blend and the full synthetic is come down. There's not as much of a price point difference. So I'm like, I don't even know if I want to offer the blend anymore because in my car I shoot regular synthetic fluid into it. Hey, so my oil change is $5 more or $10 more, but it's always synthetic oil change. I feel like I'm giving my customer a nicer product, and especially for my fleet customers, because I tell you what, every single one of those fleet vehicles is driving like it's stolen.
Oh yeah,
driving like it's stolen. So what? I want to shoot the good stuff in there.
Well,
when I say shoot it, we've got these oil guns that pump in
the. If you
the.
can see Dave, we need to get a camera.
I'm like Rambo with the oil gun.
Yeah, shooting it all around, making a mess everywhere. But yeah, the synthetic's the way to go. Just do that. I'm doing the same thing, Dave. I'm really contemplating. Unless you really need to stick to some warranty guideline or something like that, or you have an older car that needs more attention, maybe you've got several things wrong with it. It's the value of getting the eye on the car is the only reason that I would do a 3,000-mile oil change anymore is you just need to make sure you're going to make it in between and not have problems. But if your car's in tip-top shape, and you've always taken care of it, and you do everything that's supposed to be done, and it's all legit, 5,000 miles is perfect.
For sure. Let's go with Brian in Glendale. He's got a 2001 Honda Odyssey. How can we help you, Brian? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Yes, I've noticed that I've had some transmission problems with it, and once it gets warmed up, it doesn't want to function at all. And then what I've been told, I guess, is that the clutches or something are coming apart, clogging the filter. I can move it in and out of the driveway when it's cold, but after it warms up, it's not going to go anywhere. And so I did a little research, and it seems like, man, the cost of the transmission versus the worth of the vehicle is right there. I mean,
and I got a couple comments on that. And generally on those Honda Odysseys, what happens is the torque converter clutch. There's all kinds of clutches in a transmission. That's the one that fails. That's the one that gets caught up in the filter. It's not a filter you can just change. It's only a filter on the inside of the case. You can only change it when it's fully disassembled. But that may very well. What will happen is as the car runs, that filter plugs off more and more, and when you turn the car off, the pump quits pumping, and then the debris and sediment falls off of that filter until the next time it plugs up again. And so that's why that works like that. But the other thing he said was, the price of the transmission is the value of the car. And really, the car has no value the way it sits. So if it was worth $4,000 with a working transmission, it's worth $0,000 with a bad transmission. So basically, if you want to put a transmission, you buy a car for, could be $3,000, $4,000, whatever it is. You're going to spend that.
This is a prime reason why when we talk about buying a used car, because, maybe Brian doesn't want to fix that Odyssey, so he's going to sell it.
Yeah.
Or he's going to take it down to the local place and trade it in, and maybe they're going to run it through an auction, and then they buy, hey, this is a Honda minivan. Look at this thing. 2001, looked pretty good. This other guy must have taken pretty good care of it. Look at that. The transmission fluid's brand new. They just had it serviced. And then you jump in that car and you go drive around for 15, 20 minutes, and you say, whoo-hoo, I think we got a good deal, honey. and then you load up and go on the road trip, and sure enough, you needed a 25-minute test drive. And so there's just another reason. But, fixing that car, depending on, there are a whole lot of things have to come into this. There's a big financial question, but generally speaking, hey, Brian might be loaded, and he just go down to the Honda dealer and say, hey, I'm going to get myself a new minivan for $50,000.
Right.
But maybe he can, but maybe he's cheap like me, and I'm going to stretch mine out. So you can either go sign up for $40,000 worth of payments. You can take this minivan if you've really done a good job of taking care of it, and you've done your due diligence, and you've done what Dave and I have been preaching for the last 7 years. You can comfortably say, hey, I'm going to throw a tranny in this thing. I'm going to get another $50,000 on it before I decide to sell it, and I'm not forced to. So that's how I see that.
I literally had a 2001 Odyssey in my shop that only had about 85,000 miles in it here a couple weeks ago, and it needed a transmission. The car was in great shape. It was a little faded because of the year, but listen, he needs a good family van, and he didn't want to drop, like you said, $50,000 to go buy a new one.
You put a Honda Odyssey in the newspaper, they don't put them in the newspaper anymore for sale, but it'll disappear fast. They're popular cars.
For sure. When we come back, we're taking more phone calls at 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. You can also text us at 411-923. And when we come back, we're going to be talking to him out at the Good Guys Car Show. And that's coming up here this next week. We'll be right back.
It sounds like they've just had the accurate automotive experience. We're family-owned and operated and have served the Mesa, Tempe, Gilbert communities for over 22 years. We focus on building long-lasting relationships and, listening to you so that we can understand, meet, and exceed your expectations. One location, 14 bays, 88 years of automotive expertise, and a passionate commitment to customer service and excellence. My name is Lee Weatherby, and I approve this message because it's true. We love what we do, and we want to do it for you. Accurate Automotive, the home of friends serving friends.
Some say one of the worst sounds you can hear is a car crash.
Yes, and all the stress that goes with that can be worse.
The accident is stressful enough. The repair process doesn't have to be. Hi, this is Kevin,
Dave,
and Leo,
and we're the collision team at Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Individually, we own Campus Body Salon, I-17 Collision, and First Class Auto Body. Together, we're an unbeatable team working for you, not the insurance company, to get your job done right. Check us out at bumpertobumperradio.com.
Here's what Carrie from Tempe had to say about her experience with Good Works Auto Repair.
As soon as you realize, I need to get some work done on my car, I'm sure the thought occurs to you that you're about to get taken for a ride. I used to share the same sentiment and wondered if the shop was going to make something up and have me spending hundreds of dollars instead of $30 I was planning on for a simple oil change. This is one of the reasons I will only go to Good Works Auto Repair. Because I trust them. Putting trust in an auto shop didn't come easily. It's been built over several visits with them doing exactly what was needed, not coercing me into unnecessary work. Ask them for an oil change and a safety inspection, they do just that. No baloney, list of filters, belts, and whatchamacallits that need replacing on my new car. Thank you, Good Works Auto Repair, for being there for me when I need you.
Appreciate the kind words. It's always a pleasure. Glenn Hayward here. Come experience what award-winning auto service should be. Good Works Auto Repair in Tempe, or visit us at goodworksautorepair.com.
Arizona's news station. KTAR. On air, 92.3 FM. Online at KTAR.com. And streaming live on the KTAR News app. Your breaking news and traffic. Now.
KTAR News Time is 11:30. I'm Nailea Leon. Tens of thousands of people are evacuated and at least 9 people are dead from wildfires in California. ABC's Alex Stone is in Los Angeles County where flames have been burning multi-million-dollar homes around Malibu and Calabasas.
When we're talking about wildfire, there are two main things Californians and especially firefighters focus on: the wind speed and the relative humidity. Both are critical in fire activity. The higher the wind and the lower the humidity, the more flames will rage. We're talking 3% humidity during the daytime here in Southern California right now. That is extreme. When brush and trees ignite, they explode.
In the town of Paradise, California, a fire has become the most destructive in California history, wiping it out in less than a day and destroying more than 6,700 structures, almost all of them homes. It grew to nearly 150 square miles and now 20% contained. Now let's get a check on traffic. Here's Mike Daniels in the Valley Chevy Dealers Traffic Center.
Loop 101 northbound at Southern Avenue. Multi-car cars just moved off right. And just north on the freeway, Loop 101 northbound at Broadway, another wreck off to the side. And we do have that crash on Broadway at 63rd Avenue to watch out for, involving a pedestrian. This is brought to you by Smokey's Garage Door. Is your garage door squeaking, rattling, or just not working? The pros at Smokey's Garage Door will get you back on track fast. Free estimates and same-day service available. Just click Smokey'sGarageDoor.com. I'm Mike Daniels, KTAR News.
KTAR weather for the Valley. Right now it's 70 degrees in Ahwatukee. Weather brought to you by Howard Air. I'm Nailea Leon on Arizona's news station, KTAR News.
KTAR News would like to recognize the military veterans of Arizona for their service to our country. Thank you for training to be your best, for standing guard in the middle of the night, for serving overseas away from your family. From all of us here at KTAR News, thank you, veterans.
Hi, Dave Riccio, owner of Tri-City Transmission and co-host of Bumper to Bumper Radio. Someday you're going to have to spend some money on your transmission. Maybe it's just maintenance, like an oil and filter change. Or maybe your transmission has developed a small leak. Or it could be that the transmission has failed and needs to be overhauled. You're going to want it done right and at a fair price. You're also going to want the shop to be in business 14 months later if a problem arises. At Tri-City Transmission Auto Repair, we can do all that and so much more. From old Buicks to BMWs and Porsches, to CVTs and the new 8-speed automatic transmissions. Other shops may tell you they can't give you a price until they disassemble the transmission. At Tri-City Transmission and Auto Repair, we don't do that. We're capable of telling you the top, the bottom, and the average. This is from our experience of doing thousands of transmission overhauls over the last 4 decades. Find out more at TriCityTransmission.com. That's TriCityTransmission.com.
The next generation of hot rod and fun is here. The Good Guys are back, bigger and better than ever. Join us at the Good Guys Southwest Nationals Giant Car Show, November 16th through the 18th at West World of Scottsdale. Bring the whole family and check out over 3,000 of the fattest hot rods, muscle cars, and trucks with an all-new cutoff date of 1987. Plus, check out the Swap Me Tire Smoke and Burnout Competition-free Kids Zone and see the Good Guys Top 12 Cars and Trucks of the Year presented by Meguiar's, Snap-on, and Race Tech. It's all going down November 16th through the 18th at West World of Scottsdale. Get complete details and tickets at good-guys.com.
Fall's finally here, and Bunker to Bunker the Golf Show is celebrating with our pre-Turkey Day Gobbler. It's a 2-person scramble with proceeds benefiting the Society of St. Vincent de Paul of Arizona at the J.W. Marriott's Camelback Golf Club on Saturday, November 17th. Open to the public. It's good fun at a great value with golf, huge raffle, competition holes, bounce-back golf coupon, prizes, and a post-party at the beautiful Acacia Grill with complimentary appetizers and an adult beverage on us. Grab your partner and sign up today at bunkergolf.com.
Few cities are as car-centric as Phoenix, and this is the show that'll help you to better understand that machine you depend on to get around the valley. It's Bumper to Bumper Radio. KTAR News on 92.3 FM and the KTAR app for Android and iPhone.
Welcome back to Bumper Radio. I am Matt Allen, along with Dave Riccio, and again, every single Saturday, we are your KTAR car guys, helping you with your car, whatever ails you. But you don't have to have an ailment to find something on this show to enjoy. And, you know, you look outside, if you're not already outside, I guarantee if you're cruising around, you're sitting at the stoplight somewhere, just look around. You're going to see the convertibles are out. I know I've got the Targa top off of my car. I drive it now. The best weather Everybody's pulling out their cars from the garage. Everybody's pulling the cars out from the garage and getting the hot rods out. And it is the time of year to get the rod out and go out to the Good Guys Car Show. We're having a little technical difficulty here. The Good Guys Car Show is out at Westworld this weekend.
No.
Betsy's on with us. We got Betsy Bennett with Good Guys Car Show on with us. How you doing, Betsy?
Hey, guys. How are you?
Good. So I get excited for this time of year. Good Guys Car Show. It's just, the weather's fantastic, and looking forward to being out there next week. But a lot of people do not know what the Good Guys Car Show is all about. So give us a little rundown of what that car show is all about.
Sure. So this event is coming back to Westworld. That's next weekend, the 16th, 17th, and 18th. And this event, if you've never seen it, is an amazing gathering of about 3,000 hot rods, customs, classic cars, muscle cars, and trucks all over the grounds of Westworld. So, and the cutoff year for this year is 1987. We increased that this year for all of our shows. So we're seeing a lot of cool square body trucks, a lot of Trans Ams, a lot of cooler vehicles, in the mix. It's been a lot of fun. So we'll spend 3 days out at Westworld next weekend enjoying the American hot rod for sure.
And I know what it is because it's my favorite part of the show is the Duel in the Desert Autocross Shootout. Tell us more about that because I think people, if they're like me, they want to see it.
I know. The Duel in the Desert is fun. It's one of our favorite things about this event, too. So the Duel in the Desert is our season finale for the autocross. And all year long, we've been qualifying drivers and their cars for the shootout. There's a 32-car field. At each event this year, we've done a winner and a runner-up. So we've got many guys already qualified in the shootout. There are going to be some race-in spots. So if you're going to come out and you want to try and race into the 32-car field, there's still spots to do that. But it's a really fun way to see, like, the best autocross drivers in the country. We'll have Robbie Unser there, Al Unser Jr., who's won the Indy 500 twice. There's a lot of really talented guys who run our autocross series, and it makes the competition a lot of fun for sure.
Cool. What is the Good Guys Top 12 that's presented by McGuire's? Tell us about that.
So the Top 12 is all year long. We have a series of awards that we do, and most of them are event-specific, although some of them are regional. But we do the Top 12. So we do the top Hot Rod of the Year, Street Machine of the Year, Muscle Car of the Year, and we gather all of those final winners into an amazing display at this event. So they're all there in one location for everyone to see. So you may have been at the show in Iowa and seen some of the qualifiers, but this is the place where you can see all the final winners in one location. It's a really great display for sure.
Now, I've been out there for the last 7 years, and you guys never cease to amaze me with the fact that you come up with something new every year. So for the people that went last year, go this year, there's going to be something different. What are you most excited about?
You know, I always love when we add new special areas to the event. On Saturday, we have the Saturday specialty parking areas, and we've got a really cool area that we've done kind of sporadically this year, the air-cooled cars. So we've got a lot of the cool VWs, and it's been a really fun, addition to that. And I think the special areas are really cool. If you love, like, trucks or you love 32 Fords, it's a great way to see those groupings all in one location. And then you just mix it in with everything else, and it's a lot of fun out there all weekend.
Well, and this is leading into the holidays, Betsy. There's something, do I hear some stories about a toy drive or some cooperation with Toys for Tots or something going on?
We do. We are, again, working with the Toys for Tots of Maricopa County, and we're so happy to have them out at our event. So the promotion works if you bring a new unwrapped toy to the event and drop it off with one of their amazing volunteers, then the volunteer will give you a $3 off discount coupon to use as you walk up to the spectator gate. So we've done this promotion now, I think, the last 4 years, and it's been so great to have them out there and to help kind of kick off this toy drive for them for the season. So we're really happy to have them out. We encourage people, bring your toy and get your discount coupon and come on out.
For sure.
Fantastic.
Well, go ahead.
Well, Betsy, thanks for calling in and give us the details. I'm sure we'll talk to you again next week. So everybody, if you're looking for something to do, put it on your calendar. Good Guys Car Show next weekend out at Westworld. And you can find tickets. You can go to bumpertobumperradio.com and find a link there. You go to good-guys.com for tickets. I'll tell you what, you don't have to be the car buff and the car guru to go out there. It's art. I mean, a lot of us older folks drove these cars. We rode in these cars when we were little. Go back and get some nostalgia there and see what they've done, see what these guys do with these cars. It's amazing.
For sure. Well, we've got Brian, Jay, and we've got Chuck in open lines at 602-277-5827. We're going to go with Brandon in Phoenix. Oh, no, you know what? We're not going to go with Brandon. We're going to go with Chuck in Mesa with a 2004 Ford F-150.
You tease, Dave. What are you doing to him, man? Brandon's all ready to go, and you yanked the rug out from underneath him. Jesus.
Well, he's the guy from earlier. I just missed it. That's the synthetic oil guy.
Oh, is it still?
Yep, he's still on there.
He's got another question. I don't know. Chuck, what's going on?
Not too much. Thanks so much for taking my call. I appreciate it. Love the show.
Thank you.
I have a question for you. I have bought this truck brand new, 4.6-liter V8, and I want to be proactive instead of reactive. I have 388,159.1 miles on my truck.
But who's counting?
And,
right?
Right, give or take. Yeah, they say you're due for, the Ford sends me things saying you're due for a 385,000-mile service, which is kind of funny. But anyway, my question to you is there anything besides get up and pray every morning that it starts? Is there anything I can do to be proactive with the engine? I replaced the transmission at 312. So that's just my question. I love the truck, so that's where I'm at.
Chuck, I would just do whatever
you're doing, and it's evident that you're living right, So I think just staying up in the oil changes. For me, I worry about the timing chains on that particular motor and cam phasers and all that stuff, and you can just maintain the heck out of it. I think it's testament to say that you can make a car, living right certainly helps make a car last, but that you can get a lot of miles out of a car.
You know what I find the funniest about, I love this phone call because he says, I put a transmission in at 312 or whatever the heck. At that point, who cares if it's over 300? And he probably spent $2,500, $3,000-$4,000 on it. How many people do we tell them about a car? Their car needs a couple $1,000s to repair. And they go, oh my God, that thing's got 100,000 miles on it.
I bet Chuck's got more money in his wallet. I'd be willing to bet that too, and he knows exactly how much to the penny.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, for sure. Well, thanks so much for the call, Chuck. We appreciate it. Let's go with Rose in Mesa. She's got a 1974 Datsun.
Datsun.
Is Datsun still in business?
Is that a 240Z, Rose, or a 510, or what do we got there?
It's a Datsun. It's a station wagon.
Oh, 510 wagon, I bet, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I guess.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's going on with your Datsun?
My question is, right now I'm having a starter fixed, and what oil and what batteries? I heard you say those two things, that they're real critical, what you put in.
Well, I got to go back to the Wayback Machine for the 74 Datsun, but for that car, an interstate battery is a good battery, and it doesn't matter if you have a 74 Datsun or a 2014 Nissan. The interstate battery is a perfect battery for the car. Now, I'll tell you what.
There's no number or serial number or anything like that?
Well, there is.
For interstate?
Well,
because that's a brand, right?
Yeah, Interstate's a brand, and you can find them at interstatebatteries.com. And
right.
I bet the
there's one close.
And they have they have the Interstate Battery All store out in Mesa too. But I suspect there's a better than even chance that the shop that you're going to is carrying Interstate batteries right now, and they'll know the right one to put in the car. Batteries are done by a BCI number or a size, and so there's a 24, there's a 25, a 78 for various ones. So not to worry on that. One important thing is to make sure that battery is properly secured in the car and tied down the right way. As far as the motor oil goes, now we might have to dig back into some older motor oils and do a little specialty. Maybe that called for a 1040 back in the day, or a 2050, or maybe something with a lot of zinc because there was no lead, or because now there's no lead and zinc has been taken out of the oil. So as crazy as it sounds, you might need to put a, quote, racing oil in there, if that makes sense. I mean, I use a Valvoline oil in my old Volkswagen for all intents and purposes, but it's got a lot of zinc, so we need those additives in the oil. So
yeah, and if if a mechanic who's been taking care of this car is a veteran guy, have a conversation with him about it, because he may already have something he's doing that's right for you. So it doesn't hurt to ask and continue to educate yourself on the car.
Rose, did you buy that?
Do you recommend a place in this area? Can you or not?
Where are you in Mesa?
Broadway and Dobson.
Broadway and Dobson, probably Accurate Automotive. They're right there in that downtown Mesa area.
Broadway, Dobson. Also, we've got Good Works Auto Repair. You can find either of those two at bumpertobumperradio.com for sure.
Yeah. Go to the web. Did you buy that car new by chance, Rose?
No.
Okay. I was hoping.
But I love it. God, I love it.
I bet it's very rare that you hear Datsun. You know, I'm thinking, do we find a 240Z in hiding somewhere? Maybe
For sure.
my.
I love going to the gas station and spending $8 and it's full.
Do people come up and talk to you like, oh, that's a cool car? I mean, I would.
Well, just kind of now and then, but not really.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, they don't realize what it is.
Right. They haven't seen something. Well, thanks for calling, Rose. We appreciate you listening and really enjoyed the phone call.
We're going to go to break. When we come back, we've got Ray, Jay, and Brian. You're listening to Matt and Dave, your KTAR car guys on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
What's the right call after a car accident? Hi, Leo Petrozello for Campus Auto Body Salon. I invite you to check us out online and see why so many people have made us their first call following their accident. Bumper to Bumper Radio approved, 5-star rated with Yelp and CarWise.com, and A+ rated by the BBB. Make your first call the right call to Campus Auto Body Salon. Check us out online at campusbodysalon.com. Serving the Valley since 1973. Campus Auto Body Salon, the best care in collision repair.
Trust. It's hard to earn and sometimes even harder to find. If you live or work in downtown Phoenix, Matt Allen's Virginia Auto Service is celebrating over 20 years of award-winning service at the corner of 7th Street and Virginia. Recognized as one of the best service shops in the country, their customers have come to trust Virginia Auto Service for its A+ rating by the BBB, 2-year 24,000-mile warranties, and free transportation to and from your home or office. 20-plus years of earning your trust. Virginia Auto Service. They're serious about service.
The legends of the game return to Phoenix Country Club, where the Charles Schwab Cup Championship, November 7th through the 11th, and the Bunker to Bunker Golf Show invite you to create your own experience of a lifetime with our Inside the Ropes contest. One lucky listener will win daily VIP tickets for 2, parking, and walk inside the ropes with a PGA Tour Champions Pro for the final round on Sunday. For details, listen to Bunker Saturdays 7 till 9 a.m. or simply enter online at bunkergolf.com today.
There is nothing more important than family. Hi, Kurt Rock here for Kurt's Auto Repair. I brought my nephew and general manager, Jeff Rock, to help spread the word.
Thanks, Pops. Yep, the more things change, the more they stay the same at Kurt's. Family owned and operated, our ASE Master Techs and family ethics have earned us a perfect Better Business Bureau record for over 30 years. Just east of I-17 at 22nd Avenue in Bell, or online at mycarhurts.com.
Gas or diesel, foreign or domestic, if your car hurts, take it to Kurt's.
I think I judge a song on just how warm it makes me feel inside. This is kind of warm, fuzzy, and relaxing, you know? Like, I don't feel too urgent from this song.
No?
Just a little chill, but a little bit of vibrant, too.
Yeah.
So anyway, welcome back to Bumper Radio. I'm Dave Riccio here along with Matt Allen, and we are helping you with your car. We've got, looks like Ray, we've got Brian, and we're going to go with Jay in Scottsdale. He's got a 2004 Acura TL. How can we help you, Jay? You're on Bumper Radio.
Hey guys, I just had a quick question for you. Cars in excellent condition, timing belt, transmission, oil, belts and hoses, and I'm still using conventional oil. Would you suggest to do that? And I don't drive it that much. So I got 93,000 on it.
And so the question is just stick doing what you've been doing with the conventional motor oil?
Yeah, or should I go to the synthetic?
Well, it doesn't hurt to switch. There used to be in the 80s that wives' tale, if you will, or mystery story that if you started using synthetic oil, the car would then leak oil. And I think perhaps that was the case way back in the 80s. But now, I mean, you know, conventional oil is probably going to go away.
Right.
So you're going to start using a blend or a full synthetic at some point. So whatever works, keep doing what you're doing. Maybe go to the blend and stay at 3,000, or just go 5,000. Go with the synthetic and on that.
Yeah, as that price gap has changed, now I kind of would lean more toward the synthetic oil. But, you know, if you're the original owner of that car and it's that many years old, I mean, you can have that car for another 10 years. It's still going to only have 140,000 miles on it.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know, and again, you know, you talk about, Matt, you said earlier, well, hey, you know, if your radiator hose blows off and the car overheats, you want that extra protection in the engine. Well, now that we got a car with 90,000, 100,000 miles on it, yeah, maybe that is a thing.
Yeah, and you know, the Hondas, you go back, Honda Acura in 2004, and even in the 80s, they would say go 7,500 miles, even on conventional oil. I would still never do it, though.
Right,
Don't do
for
it.
sure. Let's go with Brian in Gilbert. He's got a 2004 Chevrolet Silverado. How can we help you, Brian? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hey, guys. I bought this pickup for my teenage son and got a code saying it needed a new coolant temperature sensor, so drained some of the coolant and replaced that. And when I was putting the coolant back, the bucket had a whole bunch of kind of dark, flaky gunk in the bottom. So I probably need to replace the coolant, but I go on the forum and there are people saying to get rid of the Dexcool and go with the green, and I'm just wondering what you guys think and if there's a flush product that I should use as well.
Brian, if you could see Matt shaking his head, no. In the early days when Dexcool first came around,
mid-90s,
we believed in putting green stuff in there instead because we thought we didn't really know what Dexcool was all about. It was kind of a newer extended life coolant, and it wasn't handled right. And since, you know, as times have changed, I would put Dexcool right back in.
They didn't know what they didn't know. These systems then were not fully sealed, and it's the air getting in that, you know, oxidizes the coolant or whatever the chemical reaction. I mean, you could Google Dexcool death, and you know, we had cooling systems. It was just red mud, and the problem is people are taking the radiator cap off every time they're changing the oil to check fluid that you don't need to check all the time. You know, you can see that without exposing it to the atmosphere. So absolutely not. Now, if you had really had clean coolant, you know, at first I thought he was just going to ask how to clean it. You know, you could pour that through a sock or something if you thought it was worth using to get the junk out of, you know, the floaties out, if you will. But no. I wouldn't really flush it with anything. There are some flush chemicals you can use to help clean up some scale and stuff like that. You want to get all that out of there and then put the proper mixture of coolant in there, of Dexcool. Get the Dexcool and then stop at the grocery store and get distilled water. Don't use the water out of the hose. It's going to plug up the radiator. I mean, I know, Dave, you have it. We have it at our shop. But we don't use distilled, but we have this big DI tank, and we have to have it changed out every 3 or 4 months. And all the water that we put into the cooling system goes through this resin bed and gets all the hardness out of it because that's going to ruin your radiator.
And you were the first guy to really start doing that of the shops that I know. And that was cool about you're like, gosh, I'm seeing a lot of water pumps come back on, you know, that were failing prematurely, and you're like, what's going on? And you really dug into it, and the whole science of the coolant thing, and you made the change, and then I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. We should do that too.
Yeah, well, I mean, we had our and that's the benefit of taking your car to one shop. I had a guy call me the other day, wants to bring my car, and I'm like, dude, I'm not even close. Just go here and stay there. No reason to come here. But we had our regular customers. I'm like, gosh, and I just remember the woman. She just didn't drive her car very much. And Tim saying, oh, we don't need to worry about the radiator. We did that 20,000 miles ago. And I went out and looked at it. I'm like, oh, my God, this thing has just got horrible scale. So what we found is, you know, our faucet water is garbage. You don't want to drink it. You don't want to necessarily, you know, put it in your car either. So and not only is the Dexcool just a different, I don't care about it being long life even. It's that Chevrolet, that engine is aluminum.
Yeah.
You've got to have, it's got corrosive properties in it and things to protect the aluminum and the different bimetals. So it's a lot more than just cooling the car off.
It's not just bolognium carbide. There's some science for it. So thanks for the call, Brian.
It's not BS either.
Right. We're going to go with Ray in Queen Creek. He's got a 2007 Toyota Highlander. How can we help you, Ray? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Oh, thanks, guys. Just the other day, I went to start my car, and it just went click, 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 click. So I checked the battery. It's at 80%. So I went back in and did it again, and click, 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 and then all of a sudden it started. And I'm wondering, might be something loose on the negative cable? Or, I mean, I checked everything, but I did not underneath the engine. wherever it's connected to.
If anything's going to be if anything's going to be a bad connection, I wouldn't suspect, unless somebody did starter work recently, that it would be at the starter end of things. Usually the bad connections are at the battery cables. You know, they can be tight, but they can be corroded. You know, so. You know, and he said the battery was at 80%, Matt. How would you know that?
I don't know. I've never heard of a battery tester that gives you a percentage of the battery life, so I'm not really...
But they do give you a cold cranking amp rating. You can see that on the battery. It may be 550 cold cranking amps, and it may say, hey, we've got 480, whatever that 80% comes up to.
Yeah, maybe that's just I'm just not familiar with that machine. It's not something that we use. I don't measure in percents typically. We measure in something that's not subjective. Yeah. Especially looking at brakes and stuff. Oh, you got 10% of your brakes left. Well, how much is that? But, you know, the other thing I was going to say on the previous gentleman with the Chevy truck, before we got off the coolants, he said, the first thing he said was there was a code that said I have a bad coolant temperature sensor.
No such code.
And there is no such code that tells you. So I don't know. You know, he may be surprised to find, I think that was Brian, his car may not be fixed yet.
Yeah.
You're going to put that coolant sensor in there, and he's going to fill it with coolant. Brian, you'll never know the right answer. I was going to suggest if you're going to open that up, and, you know, Tim and I talked about this last week with the cooling system. You're going to open it up. Do it now. Mm-hmm. You know, it's got, I forget what the mileage was on it. At least go ahead and put a thermostat in there and a lower radiator hose while you're underneath the truck, you know, changing the thermostat. Again, we don't know what the code was. We don't know what the number is, but there's no code that says you have a bad coolant sensor. I suspect that maybe you had a car not reaching operating temperature fast enough.
That's a possibility, or there's some sort of voltage too high or too low kind of code for that sensor, but that could be a wire issue, could be a computer issue. You know, some of the easiest problems, just about the time we think it's easy and we skip a step, we find out, oh no, I didn't see that coming. So some stuff looks like easy, like just unscrew this, unscrew that, put this in, but there's more to it, and I think sometimes people get the misperception. We just plug into it. So anyhow, thanks for joining us. You can find us at bumpertobumperradio.com. While you're there, be sure to like us on Facebook. If you don't have a shop to call your home and you're an orphan customer, go to bumpertobumperradio.com and find yourself a shop. If you've already got a good shop, I'm not going to be a home wrecker. Stay with them because they know you, they know your car, and they know how to work with you. From all the shops at Bumper to Bumper Radio, have a great week.